the minute you're passionate about something, you have a halo effect. Everything seems great.
Yeah. Love is blind.
Yeah.
Passion is blind too.
Yo, good one. Yeah,
It can TikTok viral at that
you.
one. Welcome back to another episode of Wise and Shine. I'm your host Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut.
Hi, my name is Eric, Mr. Positivity.
And I'm Dawn, SG Budget Babe.
Yeah, finally we are back again.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been so long since
felt
we
like a
recorded,
long
right?
time.
Yeah, and so much backlash, right?
A month and a half.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
The filial piety episode, right? Well, I had a lot of conversation with my parents and my friends. So, I mean, I think most people are still siding towards it doesn't matter whether your parents is good or bad, we would still have to do whatever it takes to help them. Yeah, so that seems to be the main narrative. So it was quite funny because initially that was my stand too, right?
Yes,
but then
yes.
after that,
You defended that stand
I
very
defended very hard. But then I started to sway when I realized that, some parents just don't deserve it, right? So I had a caveat, but I think at least my friends, right? Their stand is regardless, it's a sacrifice. You don't keep count with your family. Yeah, so that's just
Your friend's very noble. I had people tell me like they feel very validated after our episode.
I need to make new friends.
It's like, I'm hurt.
But
you know
this is interesting, right? Don't you realize that sometimes we unconsciously end up in our own echo chamber?
It's true.
Yeah, it does.
It's true.
Right? That like in my echo chamber, we tend to all resonate the same.
Yeah, that's why all your friends same view as you, ma.
No, but coming...
Until you have friends like us.
Yes.
No choice, Mr. Positivity,
But it's so important for intellects and for discourse that you need to keep hanging out with people who disagree with you so that you can sharpen your own thoughts.
And I think also that's why, people always say you don't know their story, you need to be kind. But it's very hard to really do it because when you're in the echo chamber, you don't even realize that what you're saying is unkind.
Yep.
And you may not even know what being kind looks like because you have no idea. You can't comprehend what else is different because you don't see it in your own circle, so you just assume everyone's like that, right?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So what changed actually for you?
No, for me,
why filial piety has shifted?
I think I'm not as fixated about my thoughts. I'm willing to let it go.
Embrace new perspectives.
Yes. Embrace new because I tend to MBTI. You're judging or perceptive, right? That J and P. My J score is very high. That means everything must fit my worldview. Otherwise, I will discard. But right now, I think hanging out with you guys and doing this show, it makes me go like, oh wait. Yeah, why do I think that way? What's the assumption I make? And the world become bigger and I actually become more accepting.
So if a 大哥 like Mr. Positivity can change his worldview like that, all the more you guys should listen to Wise and Shine and introduce to your friends so they can also learn from broader perspectives. Hey, that's the name of the GP magazine, right?
Yeah,
Broader
isn't that what
Perspectives.
GP
That's GP magazine?
The GP magazine called Broader Perspectives.
Oh my goodness, But I think to caveat all that, right, we're not saying that whether we are right or wrong.
No, right
We're
or
really
wrong,
just kind of like expanding the discussion so that you get a wider view, right? And eventually, you gotta be at ease with your ideas, lor. Find that peace. I think that's the
Very
the
true.
goal,
Whatever
right?
that works for you.
Yeah, whatever that works for you. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about whatever works for you, right?
Ooh. Oh yeah, actually.
yes.
Good,
So
good
thanks for
dovetail.
the spiel. I love that. But today we're gonna take some time to talk a little bit about profession and passion, right? So essentially, the question here today is: should you change your passion to become your profession? Right? Or should you make your passion into a profession? Right? And it is an ongoing psyche and an ongoing kind of societal shift these days. You see more and more people trying to make their passion into like can make money, write for passion, do content, become a craftsman again. There's so many things, right? And you sort of see a general shift in our societal ideals, right? And I do think a lot of people take this idea that, wow, if I can 探下 with what I love, that is the best place to be. Okay, my answer is no. but that is something that people are thinking about. What do you guys think?
Oh, my immediate answer is it sounds like a good advice, but just imagine you're passionate about singing, but you actually suck at singing, and then how can you be a singer, right? So
that's why you're not singing.
There is a caveat.
That's why you're not singing.
There is a caveat, right? That yes, you can be passionate about something, but you have to also be good at it. Why? Because of the way the construct of our career, that people pay you money for something that they value, right? So passion is great. it makes work enjoyable, but it might not necessarily bring you the money, because ultimately the amount of money you make is a market's feedback of your value. So if that passion doesn't solve a problem and you're not proficient at it, then the money that you make will still be limited.
I think it's
That's
very
my take.
idealistic, right? Like everyone wants to be in a position whereby you love something, you know how to monetize it, and you get paid
Yep.
for doing it, and you enjoy it. So all the more you continue to do it. And there's also like the logic around that, because when you enjoy something, you're more likely to stick with it. And as per our previous episode, you need to stick with something long enough to become a master at it.
Very
So
true.
if you don't
Yeah.
have the passion for it, then it might be difficult to get there. But in reality, because ideals and reality are always in conflict, I think we also need to recognize, aside from the fact that you might not be cut out for it, sometimes like what you are passionate about may not be that easy to make money as well. And then if you are not as privileged to be in a position whereby money is no longer a problem, then you just need to be a bit more down to earth and acknowledge that I need to do something else to make the money come in and pay for my bills and all the commitments and liabilities that I'm responsible for. But then find another way to do your passion, either through a hobby or a side hustle. And I think that is a safer way. I say this because that's my background.
Exactly,
right?
that was what I was saying. That sounds like your story.
It's exactly
should be
my
aligned,
story.
right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen this picture of 3 circles? One of the circle is passion circle, the other circle is competent circle, and the other circle is the world. And the sweet spot is right in the center, where you're doing something that you're passionate about, you're competent, and the world needs it. And that's the sweet spot. If I'm not wrong, is ikigai. There's this Japanese word called IKAGI, something like that. I might spell it wrongly.
4 circles,
Yeah,
but-
or 4
Right.
circles. So I would say that if you're just purely passion, then you might not do well. But if that passion overlays with the competency and what the world needs at this point of time, then life is great.
We must also caveat that sometimes what the world needs and one
It would
isn't very
change.
well paid.
Yeah, not very well.
Example?
Example, healthcare. Like we need healthcare, we value healthcare, and there are some people who are really passionate about it. Social services as well. But unfortunately, these are not very high paying jobs. At least not now. But maybe that might change, because with AI being the
Yep,
big
and with
thing,
demand going up.
yeah, we might see
Yeah.
softer skills jobs like this become more and more valuable. We don't know, right?
Reggie?
No, actually, I wanted to take this position, but I realized everybody in the room take this position, so I am going to take another position.
What is it your worldview?
Okay, so my worldview is, of course, I mean, if you're an avid listener of the podcast, you know I'm generally quite practical in that sense, right? Where, you know, I want to make sure that it's broadly aligned. Okay, I want to take the path of least resistance as much as possible, right? If I think this is okay, the path is here, it's clearly charted, the world has shifted, then can I fit myself in it? If I can, okay, I double down and I go with it. But many a times, right, I am a bit fashion forward, like ahead of my time, right? Like mental health, I did a mental health startup about 5 years ago, before this whole thing was a thing. Right, so and like podcasting, I'm also like one of the earlier ones, you know, so I'm like a bit fashion forward for my time. But the world will shift, right? The world shifts. I mean, like, as you guys pointed out, right? And if you think about it, right, if I wasn't passionate about the things that I do, then I wouldn't stick around long enough for the world to shift. You know what I mean?
True.
But that is assuming that the world eventually shifts, lah.
Yeah.
Right.
You would have given up
However,
podcasting
okay, let's
before
talk
you
about
became big.
podcasting though.
Yeah.
Would you say that you were good at podcasting?
I don't know, leh. I think I'm quite good, lah.
So
I think you became better over the years,
Yes,
right? You became
definitely.
sharper.
However, he wasn't a
Definitely.
1 upon 10, you see, in podcasting. He was, I mean, I heard his first episode, right? Recorded in your room or something, I remembered. And I don't think it was a 1 upon 10. It was at least a 6 or 7 upon
It's
10
fairly
already.
competent already.
Fairly competent already. So,
It's
I
just
mean,
becoming competent to really competent or a master of it.
correct.
No, but the idea here is if you are passionate about that one thing,
Yeah.
the amount of pain you can handle is much
It's more, right?
bigger,
Your threshold
Yeah, because
be higher.
I understand the whole competency side of it, because you want to take your passion to the market, you better be
Yeah.
good, lah, right? Because people are gonna pay for it, right? So, but the idea here is if you are very passionate about it, what are the chances of you being not so competent? You know, it exists. It exists. I know a lot of people like you love to sing, but you cannot. Like, I can. Just saying, I'm a very good
That's a
singer.
very good example.
Yeah.
The
I
singing
know.
is really...
Okay,
yeah.
yes. Hey, y'all never react to I'm very good at singing.
We haven't heard you sing, but we're willing to suspend all judgment.
Okay, yeah. But the idea here is there is a general propensity to then be able to,
Agree.
you know,
Yeah.
become generally more competent at it.
You know what's the problem?
Right.
I think the problem, if you are authentically passionate, like you're truly passionate, you cannot stop thinking about it, then yes. However, there are two other possibilities. Number one is there are people out there who are not passionate. They have no passion. Then they are screwed, right? Or they're neutral. The second group is their passion is like a roller coaster. Like, I'm passionate about tea if I only get to do it once a month. But the minute I have to do it every day, suddenly my passion drops.
I was just about to say that. Like, you might then
problem,
realize
right?
when you go 100% in on your passions that it's not really, you weren't as passionate as you thought you were. Yeah, and that happened to me as well. Like, I love dancing. So I love singing, right? But same thing. I'm not cut out to be a singer, but I recognized it from a very early age. I think I was like 12 years old or 13 years old. Because I realized biologically, I just am not programmed to be a singer. I get sore throat way too often, more than everyone else. So it's just not possible to pursue that career. So then I started thinking, okay, what else can I do? And I like acting as well, right? When you're young, you really like all the celebrity things.
Yes,
and I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool to go and act. And I did act. And then
Really?
I realized I did. You also find me in episodes like
童星
我爱精灵 and all this kind of stuff.
Oh my god, 我爱精灵
Yeah, I was a child actor
03855985
No.
Okay, it sounds
Yeah, but-
familiar. I'm going to check it out.
你想抱我就抱我
Yeah,
you know that
No, you're not seeing
You're not
Yes,
seeing
yes,
shout out to you yeah.
You
Oh
were
my
in there.
goodness.
I was.
Oh
So
Gotta go dig out the
God.
episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig out the episode,
explode
yes.
it. I don't think you can recognize me, but you
Post-producer,
can try.
please
You can
Producer,
try.
go and find. Yeah.
Yeah, so then what I realized was, again, at a fairly early age, I have acne-prone skin, and my family genetics isn't very fantastic. So a lot of us don't have very good skin. So then I realized it's very hard to be an actor, actress if you don't have very good skin. Because you look at Fan Wenfang and Zoe Tay and all that, they're just gorgeous, Whereas you look at like some, I won't name names, but those that don't have as good skin.
Comedian
they
lah,
just
they end
don't
up in the
make it to the
CSing role.
exactly.
They end up in the CSing.
Exactly.
They 走偏 already, right?
Yeah, so then I realized, okay lah, I'm just not, again, biologically not programmed. So let me try something else. Then I'm like, triple threat, let me try dancing. And then I realized again, I'm not very good at dancing. I'm good. And then I explored at one point in time, I'm like, maybe I should go and be a dance instructor. That'll be fun, right? I get to spend all my days dancing, thinking of choreography and all. But then I realized, right, when I started doing it a little bit more in school, and I took on choreography assignments, I started realizing that I didn't like it as much as I thought I did. So that was when I realized, my passion is probably like a roller coaster. I like it enough if I do it once or twice a week. But if I do it as a full-time job, then I don't think it would kill off my
Exactly.
passion.
In other words, you can say every passion that we have a score as well. Some will be maybe a 8 upon 10 and we can it gives us lasting power. But some is a weekend passion which is a 4 upon 10. But it still gives us pleasure as long as we only do it a few times.
So is there a difference between pleasure and passion then?
Yes, I think so.
Because in my worldview, there is a difference.
Very
between
big difference.
pleasure
I
and
think one is
passion.
intrinsic, one is extrinsic. So pleasure will be just something that gives you that momentary high, right?
Yeah.
But passion is something that even if you have to go through a little bit of hardship to get better at it, you would be willing to do it because you enjoy the hardship. You enjoy
I would
being
have
a
gone
master at
through
it.
that hardship to become a better dance instructor, but I didn't have that threshold. The levels were a bit different.
A bit,
Yeah, so I think also like maybe the better point here to raise is that everyone may not know where their score is.
yep.
It takes time to figure out. And sometimes you think, like I thought I was very passionate about dancing. I mean, in university, I was dancing 7 days a week. How much more passionate can I get, right?
Wow.
But I realized when I went like beyond that and the 7 days became with responsibility, then I didn't like it as much anymore. But it takes time and a journey of self-awareness, self-discovery to get there. And I think the danger is if you commit too early, then you may regret it. And I know of many people in my circle, for instance, who have started out as dance instructors and they didn't follow through. Like they gave up too soon. Or like people who, thought they were very passionate about yoga or Pilates and they go and spend like 5 digits to go and get certified to become an instructor. Then they don't stick with it. Because they realize they weren't as passionate as they thought they were to justify that whole investment. And if you're really passionate, you get it back. Right? And I know of a banker, a very successful banker who quit her job to become a yoga instructor because she was so passionate about it. She's still doing it now. And she's making good money. But I also know of the other side of the story where people started out with it and then they gave up and they went to do something else instead that earns them better and more stable money.
No, it's because that person was a banker previously, so all her clients.
That's why. So I think
all
also
her clients lie.
it comes also
Let
with
me
privilege,
teach you, namaste.
isn't it? Like if you have, because she was in a career that probably had a bit more, and if one was able to save or your parents to buffer you financially, then you're more ready to explore that. And the pain that you take might be lesser than someone else who doesn't have that privilege going in.
Okay. So I understand some of the pointers, but I feel like we are a bit scattered in our definition of like passion and like profession, right? Maybe we can start with that. How do you define something as a passion? Or like what are some intrinsic ideas?
I have one. I have a very strong indication. It's like when you are doing that particular activity, time disappears. There's a book that called Flow. So when you're in flow state, time just stands still. Like when you're maybe do your tea or you're singing, suddenly you realize 5 hours is gone. I would say that is a very, very strong indicator that you're really passionate about what you do.
I would say 1 hour really quite good already. These days attention is quite high,
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so 5 hours is like half a day gone is not.
Yeah. So time. So I'll say when you're in flow state,
okay.
I think, and at the end of the activity, you actually feel really good about it.
Okay.
You feel positive emotions. I would say that is a fair
Indicator
way
that
indicator.
this is something
Okay, but
you're
we use
passionate
time as
about.
a judgment and I just apply it on myself,
Sure.
right? Then I can write for 5 to 6 hours because it's just sitting there, just using my hand.
Yeah.
Not easy, huh? But I can't sing for 5 to 6 hours and I can't dance for 5 to 6 hours because it's a physical thing and the body has limits. So then time may not be
And
very good.
there's a good indication, right? That the passion
max out,
score. Yeah, your passion score maybe is a bit lower. It is an enjoyable activity, but I may not say that you are passionate about it.
No, but if you think about it, that's physical limitation. But you max out, even more than, technically it's more than 5 hours. You know what I mean? Like 5 hours sounds like a the idea here is you have, the idea here is not the absolute hours, right? The idea here is how much time you spend in that state.
But
if you do your dance and everything, you max all the way to the end. You know what I
but
mean?
it depends
Yeah.
also. That,
You go beyond
this
max,
5 hours, is it
actually.
excruciating 5 hour or is like the 5 hours just disappear?
It disappears.
Okay,
Yeah.
then
so you're
yes.
quite passionate about
So
it.
it's
then-
passion.
yeah, you are
so
passionate.
then in a case like mine where you have
Yeah.
multiple passions, then
Nothing wrong with
It's
that.
okay, what?
I
Why
think
why
it's
should-
very healthy for a person to have a
Yeah.
portfolio
so
of
how
passion.
do you then choose which passion to become a profession?
So that's where the Venn diagram comes in.
Yeah.
That number one is actually a few things. So number one is, does this passion have staying power? So stretch it, right? Keep spending more time doing it, and does time still flow? Do you still enjoy it? If you have, then it's an indication, right? Number two is that then take a look at, are you good at it, lor? Get people to judge it and show people who are in the profession. That's the second one. The third one, then just look at the market and see what are the higher paying jobs and see if you can match.
I think
It's
that's
still
why
possible.
at the end of the day it's really about a balance, right? Like people tend to think that pursuing your passion means you're 100% passionate about it. You just go for it.
Yeah.
But no, it's really a blend of all these three factors. Does the world value it? Are you competent enough to stay
Yeah.
and become even more competent?
Correct.
And then do you like it enough to sustain?
And one more, are we sustaining our passion too? Because if we don't keep sustaining that passion, because we are kind of assuming that the passion is always going to be there. But if you don't sustain that passion, you will run out eventually. Even if you are 8 upon 10, but you don't take care and protect and nurture and groom that passion, it will run out.
But if passion is truly intrinsic, then why do you need to protect and groom it? Wouldn't it just be something that, it's like a fire in you, right?
True. But
The thing is, I know what you're saying.
but
you
fire
know?
means you need fuel, right? So the fuel is the time spent doing
No,
the
but okay.
activity, the mastery of it.
Yeah.
And-
But,
and-
but
yeah.
yeah, so I get that. I also get that as like metaphorical, right? But the idea here is, I think, firstly, there are few facets, right? Firstly, we cannot assume that you will not discover new passions,
Of course.
right? We cannot assume that, because I think we, along our lives, we always discover new things.
Yeah, we evolve.
Yeah, we evolve. We discover new passions. So, what you were passionate in the past, it's no longer as passionate today, and you pick up new things, right? And it can be for a myriad of reasons. It can be because you found something even more interesting, or it's like playing a game, right? Like you're so good at the game, then it's like a bit sian already, lor. Or you max out at the level that you play at, and to go further, the leap is huge, and then you don't want to continue. You make a choice, and then okay, then that's it, right? Or sometimes you just realize newer things that are more more interesting to you, right? So different facets of your life. Or it could even be like you're injured and you can't dance anymore and you have to, by extension of the scenario, find a new passion, right? So I
That's
think...
why then you go into teaching.
Then
That's how if you teach, you can't do, you go and teach, come about, right?
Exactly, right? So I think the broad idea of passion is there, and we have on some level established how do you then decide whether it's a profession, whether you can turn it into a profession. It cannot just be unique to you. It has to go beyond you and just kind of look at where the market is. Is that the idea?
Yeah, so far. I have an interesting case study. So I have a friend of mine who is a chef, right, for a while. And the reason why he became a chef, you know where the story goes. So for a while, because he was passionate about cooking since young, he was always cooked for his family, he enjoys it. And then someone say, hey, since you love cooking and you're good at it, why not make a profession out of it?
That is so dangerous. That's exactly why I wanted to talk about this topic.
We all know what ending this is.
So he started making a profession out of it, and he started to realize that there are other parts of being a chef that he doesn't like. The P&L statements, the marketing. There are many things to run a restaurant, right? So all that kills his passion.
But he could just be a chef and not be a boss. And then that would be...
Which therefore means that, don't be an entrepreneur. Because being an entrepreneur means you got to do everything else.
Yeah, but he can still be a professional chef, just a professional hired chef.
So that's something I think we need to all take note of, which is when we say that, okay, you can make your passion a profession, right? Do think about what are the other aspects of the profession that might eat into your passion.
But people may not know this until they make it a profession.
So talk to people who are already in it. Because, this confirmation bias thing is that the minute you're passionate about something, you have a halo effect. Everything seems great.
Love is blind. Passion is blind too.
Yo, good one. Yeah.
It can TikTok viral at that one.
So I think a very smart, wise thing to do is that if, let's say, you're passionate about maybe being a teacher because you love teaching and you're good at it, go talk to teachers and tell the teachers to share with you all their nightmares, all the worst things that happen, and see whether after listening to all the bad stories, are you still willing to give it a try?
You can actually deal with that nightmare, but because you were delivered it too early, too soon in that stage, you freak out and then you don't even bother going it.
Well, possible. Then it depends on your ability to take risk and how badly do you want to leave your day job.
Experience the pain in order to do it. It's like, for example, if you want to learn how to ride a bike and you talk to people and they're like, wow, when I fall down, you look at my freaking colloid, I fell down. And then you're like, I don't want a scar like Donna. I just won't cycle.
But isn't that a true test of passion then? Because part of you being passionate is that you're willing to take the risk, willing to pay the price.
Like for my writing career, right? If I was told right from the start that writing can be there's so many aspects of writing whereby the liaison with clients, for instance, would be so difficult. Or like I would end up fighting with clients on almost 80% of every campaign that I take on because clients want to take up this and I insist on having this, and then like there's gonna be cases whereby they just don't want, and I'm like, okay, fine, then I'll just publish it my way, right? And then that happens and I don't get paid for the work. If people told me that right from the start, I may not have gone down this path. Yeah, but it was something that I learned over time, like probably in my 5th year of writing and earning from it. Then I realized, wow,
I guess it's remember one episode that we did was The Truth Hurts? Right? Yeah. So I guess then it depends on you. Like, do you want to let the truth unfold, or do you prefer to know it upfront and then make a conscious decision?
I think if someone has the privilege of trying it first, I think that everyone should try.
Test it lah.
I think everyone should try.
Experience is better when you do it yourself.
Yeah, but don't quit your job to
and that would be considered a risk managed way, right? Yeah. But if you bring your expenses much below and then you don't really need a lot of income, then it's also a way to go about it.
My life story is a case in point, right? I was a computer science by major, and I was a computer scientist for a while, and I hate being a programmer. But the salary was good, and I really wanted to quit because I think that I was passionate about teaching and I was good at it. But my mentor was wise. He said, Eric, don't quit your job. Just do it as a side hustle. So he said that do it from 9 to 12. That means 6 p.m. to 12 a.m., right? Just do it then. The minute the money that you make at your side hustle is crosses over to your salary for 6 months, you're ready.
Yeah.
So I thought that's a good milestone. Yeah, for those of you who are risk adverse.
Yeah, I think that's risk adjusted, right?
Correct.
Essentially that's
If you
fair.
have extra money in the bank, then okay lah. Then it's okay.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that's usually how the most of us will do it.
Yeah. Hey, I hope you're enjoying Wise and Shine so far. I'm your host Reggie, aka your chief financial coconut, and for us to continue to do this show so that you become a tad bit wiser every week, you gotta like, share, subscribe, help us beat the algorithm. But even more importantly, if you can, comment in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts and also some questions that you would love us to answer. Yeah, now back to the show. So if someone were to pursue it into a profession, right? So let's say like writing, right? Someone love to write, I'll always write all these things, and then suddenly got clients come in, and then naturally it became like, okay, this thing looks viable, huh? Okay, so it's not a random someone just want to be a profession. Okay, there's some signs already, and they take up the profession. Okay, what if their passion go off in the midst of that profession? Because that is so common.
Yeah, the roller coaster thing.
Yeah. So how do you deal when this thing becomes a profession and everybody tell you, wow, it's your 梦想, life's so good for you, right? But then actually deep down inside, you'll be like, wow, this thing is getting damn boring.
Yeah.
How do you manage this thing?
I think that's when it's okay when your passions change to then apply the same concept and do your new passion as a side hustle until that becomes your full thing.
So to you, it's an endless cycle.
It could be.
In that sense. So if writing becomes a profession and the passion just fade out already, no more, 找不到, finish already, then you will find a new passion.
It's a transition
and then it transits.
Because then your passion now becomes your profession and you're competent at it, right? Now you're in the stage where that brings in the money.
Yeah.
And with the moolah, are you gonna say no to the moolah, or can you continue with that first and then explore something else that will make up for the pleasure that you seek? Until the point where that can now be monetized, and then you switch over.
Which is why I think there are people out there listening to us, right, that has a different thinking point, which is that we don't have to make our passion our profession. We rather keep things separate.
Yes.
That our profession is, don't put our emotions into our profession. We're good at it. We do our job 9 to 5, make the money, so that money that I have allows me to nurture my passion, because I want to keep things separate.
Yeah.
So again, there's no right or wrong. It really depends on, do we like to merge both worlds together?
If you come from that view, right, then you don't need to go through Dawn's roller coaster,
No need.
Because that
You
is a
just
roller
do
coaster,
whatever-
right?
you just do whatever
then
that-
become a profession. It's like, very sian, pick up a new passion, and then the passion become a profession, and very sian, pick up a new passion.
And then, that life will be a roller coaster life already. But if you want more stability, then it's no, let's not get too emotional. Profession is profession. Just make a lot of money, climb the ladder. Then my weekends and my evenings are for me to nurture my passions. Some people do actually want to protect because they know how passion can be killed by profession.
Yeah. So what if there are a bunch of people that want to keep their passion as a profession, but also see their passion dwindling after it becomes a profession?
Can you
Exactly. Can you refuel? Is there a way to like bring it back?
I think it's like love. I always believe that love is an action.
Love can bring it back, man.
Yes, I believe love is an action.
Why not?
It's like, oh, wow.
When you actually
Ministry of Family and Social Services.
When you execute actions of love to your loved one, you start to feel the feelings of love. So I would talk to the people who feel that your passion is dwindling. Unfortunately, your passion is your profession and you're kind of worried. Go back to first love. Like, think about, how do you even fall in love with your passion in the first place? Sometimes the reason why your passion gets dwindled is because of the stress of making money that's killing the passion.
Fair.
So you do that. That's one. I think just now I had a thought.
Or the other aspects, like your chef story.
Yeah.
Maybe what they need to do then is to take a step back and let other people outsource. Yeah.
Well said. Outsource the part, if especially you're an entrepreneur. Outsource the part that's actually attacking your passion. Because I think you cannot assume that your passion will always be there. I think that's the problem. Like how we always assume that love will always be there. No, love always needs to be nurtured. Passion always needs to be nurtured. So even if your passion is your profession, you need to continue nurturing it, expand on it, so that you will always have wealth of energy and motivation to do what you do.
Actually, we should have brought the Work Salaryman on this episode. Because that's exactly
Recently,
what happened
they
to them,
posted
right?
something,
They went from passion as a side hustle to a profession at a point where the money crossed over and was okay for both of them to quit their job. Although I think they did it slightly before that tipping point. And then when they did it, they realized they didn't like it as much as they thought they did, because they like creating content but not the entrepreneurial part of it.
Yeah, and the stress of now having to, you know how when money is in the picture, right? Sometimes it kills the creativity.
It does.
Because I remember Ling Junjie, in one of his concerts that he actually shared in 2 years ago or 3 years ago. He shared this concert that said that, do you know that there was a period of time, it was the darkest period of my time. I lost my voice. I thought my career is going to tank. And I realized, and I analyzed, and I realized that the reason is because I write songs commercially. I was just writing for the public because public wants this kind of song. I write it, and I lost myself. I lost my creativity, and that was what caused him to be in the dark zone, and that was what inspired him to write 不为谁写的歌. There's this song.
That song.
I love that song. So that was his turning point of his career. That he decided, no, you know what? If you are my fan, you will support me in whatever I create, right? And I'm gonna create what I want that brings back my first love. And that was how the song was written. So I will always remember what he said. And I think you got to protect your passion like a fire. It does burn out, and you need to keep putting fuel because the stress is water. The people that ruin your passion is water as well. So it's normal. But you just protect your fire. As long the fire is hotter than the water, then your passion will still continue.
Yeah, and I think outsourcing shouldn't be looked down upon.
No, it shouldn't.
Yeah, like the
focus on your genius zone.
Thing, what they did was they hired an account manager to take out the most painful part, which was dealing with clients
so
and the
that they can
liaison.
protect and do the
Yeah,
things
then they
love.
can go in their zone
Yeah.
and really like focus and get back that whole, inspiration and creativity which was being killed by external factors.
It's
Yeah.
true.
But
So
while we
could
are
do
at
that.
it, I want to caution everybody watching this. I tell you, remember, Reggie, you said that, there are a lot of now people talking about how you can turn your passion into profits. These are marketers. Sometimes I really think marketers ruin things. Because
Every episode you say the same thing.
but it's true.
That's true.
And I have to say it. I have
So
to
are
say
you
it.
guilty?
No, I'm not guilty because that's not my narrative. I never have asked people to turn their passion into
No, you train marketers like.
no, I don't.
Then
I train
it's a-
agents, but not
okay, okay.
marketers.
So you market yourself.
No, we are all marketers, but the thing is that
I love it, yeah.
I mean, we are selling this episode too, right? But I'm talking about those people out there who's selling those programs called
Yes,
turning
I know what you
profits,
mean. Yeah.
turning passion to profits. It sounds good, you know why? And you know who will buy? It's the people who are unhappy. It's the people who hate their job. Obviously, by telling you that you can do something you love, I'm selling you a dream. But the reality is, do you even have a passion? And the other reality is, are you good at your passion?
Go for this kind of course. How much is that cost? 3,000, 4,000?
Yeah, you can get up
don't.
to
I teach you how to
$6,000.
save the money,
Okay.
budget-based speaking.
Yes, please tell us.
Just go and spend that time. You buy 3 people dinner. Okay? 3 people who are in that career. And then to get the most pure and the most unfiltered one, you
Yeah.
listen to all of it. Then you also talk to them. What is the audience like? How do you find people to
Yes.
pay you and all? And you probably spend maximum like $300.
And
1/10 of the
and-
cost. Then you can, sponsor a bit of our next episode next time to pay us
Super
back.
take
light,
action.
super light or something. I think we're gonna unlock the future.
And must take action also. It means after they get the advice, they try it out for maybe 3 months. If they cannot even try out for 3 months using their after work period, forget about doing it full time.
Yeah. That's a good gauge. Although
Love it.
I think 3 months a bit short lah. Maybe give some people need a bit more time lah. Maybe 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
for
a
me,
cheaper
right,
way.
I wrote on my blog for 2 years before I got the first paycheck.
Did you?
Wow.
Did you get burnout then?
No.
Did you? So you're not.
I think I was lucky in a sense whereby I really like writing. Right from the start, it was one of my earlier childhood passions. I just never thought I'll be very good at it, so I gave up halfway. And that came because so when I say you're delivered some things too early, right? I had a lot of childhood passions. Very fickle-minded, okay. But writing was one of them. And when I was in, I think Sec 2. Okay, secondary 2 or 14 years old for those of you who might be overseas listeners. I had this opportunity to go for a writing course in my school where only like the elite gets to go. And at the end of it, as long as you complete your story and there were like people teaching you, helping to edit and all, you would get your book published.
Nice.
So you could choose any idea, any topic, any storyline, anything, unfiltered. It's all up to you. The only catch is you must complete it. And out of that class, I think there was like 20 of us across different schools. So there were like Raffles and all the different good and neighborhood schools all mixed lah, right? And I think only like 5 of us completed it. So there was a very big failure rate. Maybe that says a bit about, other
That your
people's
passion
passions.
is being tested.
Yeah, exactly. But I was one of the 5 who completed it.
Wow.
But it was painful.
Yep.
And then like after I read my story, I was very proud of it the first time round. And maybe because it's my own words. It's quite long. It was like this thick. And for secondary school kid, that's a lot.
Very long, yes.
It took me very long to write it. I think by the 5th read, I was starting to get bored of my own story. Yeah, and I was like, actually, my story very cliche. If I could redo it, I'll probably do it differently. And then that killed off whatever passion I had for writing until it was rekindled much, much later, again in university. Yeah.
What rekindle it?
In university, I was studying communications, right? So we had a lot of writing.
Yeah.
Again, I hated the journalism part because when you write by SPH standard, and then my lecturer was also ex-SPH chief editor, so she was very harsh. Like, oh, your level of English, my primary 1 kid also better. If you guys were taught by her, I'm sure, fellow alumni and peers, you might recognize.
Comment section.
Yeah, but she
below.
was very harsh, and it killed. When you get comments that harsh, it gets killed off. But then after that, I took another module where the teachers weren't as harsh and there was a lot more flexibility and freedom. And that's when I realized, like, hey, maybe I can use my writing in different ways. I don't have to be a journalist because people think that writing, that's one of the more obvious choices, right? But then I realized, hey, actually, advertising also is writing. What? Copywriter, like writer, you know. It is, yeah. And then, like, although I used to think copy means copy from someone else, but apparently not.
No.
Then, or you can be also an account manager or press release writer, also writing, but it's not an immediate thing. If you are someone who are new and you love writing and you want to explore profession out of it, how many people can actually know that writing has this copywriter, has this press release? You don't know, these are other professions that don't come. Yeah. Exactly, you have to be in it, then you realize that these are other aspects of the profession that you also can explore. So then when I discovered that, then I started to get back my love of writing. Because now I could write in other ways that I still enjoyed without the journalist news way that
Why
totally
do I feel like your lecturer is Bertha Hansen?
No, it's not. It's not. Someone harsher.
Yeah, even worse. Okay. Shout out to you. Don't attack us. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So fair. Very interesting. So okay.
No, I'm just trying to integrate everything that we said, right? Because initially we talk about like how do you nurture passion. So it seems like all of us have a dollop of passion. A starting portfolio could be 4 points or 5 points, and when that passion feeds you back some pleasure and some positive emotions, it's part of nurturing the passion. But actually, the next step of nurturing your passion is when you get positive feedback about your passion. Like you see, in your case, right, your passion got killed the minute someone say you suck. But the minute someone nurtures you and say that, hey, you're good, keep working at it. That positivity or that positive feedback allows you to want to work on a passion. So how do you know whether you're passionate about something? Is first of all, you enjoy it. Right? And number 2 is that you're starting to get some feedback that you are good at it and that you're willing to get better at it. That means there's progression in your passion. That passion gets nurtured.
Like your chef friend also, because people told him that he was a good chef. That's why he
went nurtures into it. Right? But if you have, and then on top of that is, he needs to keep testing and experimenting and growing, because that was what makes him passionate. He was very passionate about trying different types of food, putting together, see something new comes up. But he stopped doing that when he became an entrepreneur because he's supposed to only cook 5 types of food. So if you understand
lean menu,
because cheaper. So if you understand what is it that makes you passionate, keep doing it while shielding yourself from things that might kill your passion, like criticism or the stress of having to make money.
No, and I think that is why a lot of people, they always end up saying that, oh, I would like to give thanks to this mentor of mine or this coach of mine, because a lot of these people that teach you or train you, in this process, they can make or break your career, on many fronts. So sometimes, I feel like sometimes I struggle with telling the person you should stop. It's like because objectively, I come from I'm the senior in the space, right? I know, like, you're too far from it, right? And then, like, should I tell you to stop? But this person very passionate, not very competent, very hard to monetize one.
Then you should turn it into make him go the side hustle route.
But you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean, right?
Then people are just not good at it and they don't recognize that they're not competent at all.
But I envy them sometimes. Isn't it nice to have just positive feelings?
It's true. That's the thing. I agree with you. I agree with you. But that's a different podcast. But you know what I'm saying, right? It's like as a mentor, because you're 10, 20 years in the business already, or in the space, in the career. You look at this person, it's like, maybe you're better suited elsewhere. But should you kill them here?
I won't. So I will always, I think we will always try to give them, because nothing is possible.
I will not kill the person. But I will tell them maybe you shouldn't pursue this.
Or I'll give
thing,
tests. Let the test
Yeah,
be
yeah.
the bad guy, not us.
You very harsh, why you tell them?
Do
Just
these
give them
5 things.
tests lah, yeah.
Do these 5
Make
things.
it difficult, and if they can, your threshold is good enough to cross all the tests, then
Because I
maybe
tell you,
they should get another chance.
recently I've been looking for trainers and we're giving jobs, right? And people always tell me, I'm very passionate about training. It's so easy to say you're passionate. So we always put them to a test. Okay, not passionate. I want in these next 6 months, you go and do 5, 10 free training for me. Tell me you're passionate. If you're not even willing to do one, I need to get paid, then you're not passionate about training. You're passionate about the money that you get to make being a trainer. That's different.
No, that one is a different discussion. We can have that. But I know.
But you get my
I
point,
know because
right?
you are the one setting the game. To you, that's the parameter
And
of
you
how you
test it.
define.
Yeah.
You test it. Yeah.
I want to raise a different route. Okay, so I think we're also here today because time has become so important, and in a society that really values productivity and efficiency. Is it that we're feeling all this pressure to monetize our passion as well? Because then we think, well, if I just do it to de-stress and get pleasure, then it's a waste of time. I might as well milk everything and every hour that I spend doing something.
I don't think so. I think it's because people are not enjoying their current work. And the work is giving them anxiety, stress, burnt out. And so the alternative is, seems like my passion been giving me a lot of pleasure. Why not I do more of my passion? I felt it's more of that.
But there are also some people whereby they have started out certain side hustles because it was a passion that they were passionate about. And then you see them give up, right?
Which is not a bad thing.
I know a lot of
But
these
why they
people.
give up?
I've seen many people, whether like they open up weekend stores, or like a barista on the weekend, like pop-ups, or like home-based whatever business, right? It's so common. And I think I will not hold them to the standard of not giving up. To me, they're just trying. It's like based on that story that you frame, right? That means the person don't hate their profession, right? Currently, their full-time job or whatever, they're okay with it. It's not like this. Is not like an outlet, It's like, not bad, quite fun, Then like couple do together, then end up break up, start a business with your partner is a different discussion, right? But so then they go and do it together, and then if it works, great, let's continue. If it doesn't work, okay, cool, let's close shop. It's fine, and I think people take it. If they can take it with that kind of tenacity and the way to look at it, to be able to detach yourself and just shrink it back to a.
There's nothing wrong with being passionate about something and wanting to monetize it because time is money as well. But if you're not, it gets to a stage whereby you can monetize just based on your close friend. Your closer inner circle. So it's just word of mouth. It's just around a certain group, and then you just limit how many orders you take in and develop, and you just don't go beyond that so that the passion doesn't die.
You don't scale, lor.
I don't scale.
You don't scale.
Exactly. And then it's all fine. You can charge cheaper prices because these are your friends and family. You don't feel that pressure. You'll be like, oh, as long as I get back like my ingredients cost, I'm good. Or my ingredient cost and a little more. You won't be thinking of like, oh, bakers, I need 30% profit margins and all
really
of that.
Just passion. But if you're going to turn your passion into business, you cannot think that way. Which is why a lot of businesses die. Because eventually their passion becomes their biggest enemy.
It's a very dangerous space to enter into.
One thing that I like, and if I look back in my own life, I think I'm quite blessed in the sense that a lot of things that happen have actually helped me to get on a good path sooner rather than later. And I think one of that was really the fact that I got to try out internships that had me testing really whether I was really passionate about it. So my very first internship was with a PR firm. I was doing so much writing there, and I think the average person would be sick of how much writing I had to do. I was writing speeches, and all the press releases and so many pitch emails to like media outlets trying to get coverage from my clients and all. And I did on projects like 3M and Pet Lover Center and all this kind of stuff. And I was just writing so much and even creating like a magazine, but I didn't hate it. No, I realized actually okay, not bad. I can continue doing it. But then I wanted to explore other writing careers, right? So when I was like, oh, there's also copywriter. That was when I started to realize. So like, let me try my next internship at a copywriting firm. So I tried the advertising firm, one of the biggest in the scene as well. And while I didn't get the role of a copywriter, and I'm very sian about it, but I got to interact with copywriters. Right, and I did lunches with them. I got to talk to them, and then I got to see them talk about like, sometimes writer blog, I hate it. And then like I walk past the office and I see them just staring at a screen blankly, trying to figure out, then give up and just walk off and stuff. So then I thought and like, maybe that's not for me. Right, and I started realizing it because I did these internships. I think it helped me to realize what threshold and which direction sooner rather than later. Yeah, and that's a good chance for people to try it out. today, unfortunately, I think the idea of internships outside of school, people are quite adverse to it, right? They're like, no, internships are only for school. Once I get out, I must like full-fledged. But I think if your journey, you need more steps to get to your destination versus other people. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing a little bit more internships or taking a lower paid job. Like someone who really likes podcasting, you want to test out your threshold, come and podcast with Reggie and see whether you can tahan it. Even if he can't pay you as high as, let's say, being a radio DJ or anything, but if you can tahan that and realize that your threshold is there, then you can go and explore. And doesn't this sound like you do have a real life DJ also, right?
Yeah. Anyway, just saying, part-time DJs don't get paid much. So I can tell you the rate, DM me, okay? Yeah. Only the full-fledged guys get paid serious. Yeah.
Okay.
You like what was one closing lesson? I thought that was beautiful.
I think first of all, have a portfolio of passion, simply just to increase the quality of your life. Like, it would be quite sad if you are neutral about everything. And the way to have a portfolio of passion is to really just experiment and try. Don't say no to activities. Just be open to trying different things and start observing which one you enjoy. And then once you have a portfolio, you can then start having the conversation about, can I actually turn one of it into a profession with all the factors that we talked to you about? Then I think life will be amazing for you.
Fair. I think for me, I am quite the kind of person that would just go with it and just do it.
Yeah, that's your life story,
I'm very like, just go lah, just do with it lah, right?
It's life story.
Yeah, just go, right? So
okay, cannot be a singer.
But it's eventually you have to wake up, right? At some point you gotta realize that, okay, this is maybe not gonna work, right? Like you can you begin with a place of like passion, of interest, of pleasure, whatever you wanna, whatever like airy-fairy ideas. Broadly, what it encompasses is you like the thing. Okay, or you like it enough to even entertain, like, I'm gonna do this every day, right? And I hope to make money out of it, right? So, and when you do it, you will know whether or not this thing can make money, whether or not you really can do it for prolong, which is why I stopped working with newbies. Because every newbie come in and tell me, I love this. No lah, you do 20 episodes first and you come back and talk to me. Because 20 episodes in, I will know whether you can still do it, or whether or not you actually really like
staying power.
Yeah, whether or not, during hard times, you will stay around. Yeah, essentially, and that is much needed in a profession. You have horrible days, and then you must be able to, during the horrible days, be like, okay, I need to breathe. 2 days later, you come back, it's like, yeah, I feel like this.
Yeah.
I think that's
I think taking a step back to bring yourself out of the situation and rekindle, find back the reasons why you liked it in the first place really helps. I have period like that as well, where I just stop taking on client gigs and just write what I want to write, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good, I will resume.
Yeah.
Rekindle that fire.
This whole thing here is why I started Wise and Shine. Because I was sick and tired of talking about personal finance. I was the same shit, right? Client come always ask me same thing. I was like, I got edgy ideas. You're not interested to cover, So I'm glad we're doing this.
It
kept me going.
I'm glad.
Nice. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for listening.